cramped. This is going to be filmed, so you can. I think it's going on the YouTube channel, isn't it? Yeah. I've also put up the PowerPoint onto Teams as well. So you go to the year 13, so you can have a look at it there. Okay. Let me just. Whoops. Let me just start then today. Here's some deadlines. Yeah. 15th of October, final date to submit Oxbridge Medicine applications. 1st of November, deadline for teaching staff to file subject references. But this is important for you. Deadline for students to complete personal statement.
1st of November.
1st of November. That's after half term. So all of you, after today, you have no excuse. You've got to start the personal statement. Yeah?
Yeah, you've got 4 weeks.
You've got 4 weeks, and it takes a long time. So as soon as you leave tonight, you should start your personal statement, because I'm going to tell you how to write your personal statement. Yeah. Okay. So deadlines for students to submit completed applications: 15th of November. The 15th of November. So that's only just over a month. Yeah. That's about 5 weeks. So the clock is ticking. Yeah. So please get cracking. Okay, what creates a good personal statement? Yeah, it's not wearing a school uniform. Yeah. Research. This is what you should be doing or have done over the last few weeks. Research. Reading around your subject. Relevant critical ideas. Attention to detail. Rewriting and editing. So those are some general things. So please, hopefully you've done some research. What courses you want to study and why. Reading around your subject. Some of you might be in two minds about your subject. I might want to do this, or I might want to do that, or I might want to do a joint course. Yeah? So start reading. Relevant critical ideas. Now these are really about the sort of evidence. I'm going to come to this. Relevant critical ideas. Attention to detail. Rewriting and editing. This is a long, laborious business. Really crafting a good piece of writing. It's your calling card. It's evidence. It's evidence of your ability. It's the evidence of what kind of person you are. It's a statement. And it's very important, the personal statement. Yeah? You're doing your A-levels or your BTEC or your IFP in order to go to university. And this is what's going to get you to university, the university that you want to go to. Yeah? So please, think about it as like an exam. This is like an exam that's coming up, and you've got to prepare for it. Okay, next one. Points to consider. A good personal statement must explain your commitment to and interest in and enthusiasm for the subject. Look at those words: commitment, interest, enthusiasm. That's a given. Yeah? That's taken for granted. But that's what it should convey. Approximately 75 to 80% of the allocated space must be dedicated to academic content. Basically, the more academic the university, the more academic content. Yeah? But I would say 75 to 80%. Okay, for the very top universities, the Russell Group, the more academic, the better. Okay, let's move on. 75% to 80% academic. There we are. These are some students that graduated from DLD a couple of years ago. Okay, let's move on. Justify your choice of course. A-levels, BTEC, IFP. Reading beyond syllabus. Now that's really important. What have you read around the syllabus? Not just the textbook or your class notes, but what have you read? Refer to the entry profile. Now let's have a look at that. The entry profile is what the universities say they are looking for. It's called the entry profile. They will have a statement of the kind for the subject. What kind of students do they want? What kind of qualities do they want? So have a look at those closely. Read the entry profile. It's something that a lot of students don't do. Achievements. Academic achievements. Extension activities. Any of you doing an EPQ at all? Any EPQ students? Yeah, you're doing an EPQ? That's an extension activity. Career aspirations. What do you plan to do in the future? How is this degree going to help you establish your career? So, academic, let's move on. Okay, let's have a look at this. Do some research. Read the prospectus. That's the first thing you should do. Read the prospectus. Go on to UCAS and read what they say, the universities, about their courses. Read any departmental literature. Narrow it down to the actual department. What department? Visit the university's website. Read the entry profiles. That's important. Often ignored, the entry profiles. Let's have a look at an entry profile. Check entry requirements. Check that your maths qualifications are adequate, especially for science and economics degrees. You may have foreign qualifications. Make sure that the university will accept them. Check that your English language qualifications are suitable. Yeah? Certain universities will not accept from international students GCSEs or IGCSEs. They will only accept IELTS. So check that, yeah? It's your responsibility to make sure that you have the correct English and maths qualifications for that university or for that course, yeah? So check the English qualifications. All international students should do IELTS, yeah? Are you all doing IELTS? Yeah?
Yes.
No? Okay, well have a think about that IELTS, the IELTS, and if you're in doubt, speak to your university, your UAT, yeah, the person who's overseeing your application, or go and see Daniel here. Let's move on. Entry profiles. Quickly, you can read this on the PowerPoint. But this is an entry profile. This is an example of what they're looking for in biology. This is for biological sciences, and these are the things that they talk about. We are looking for undergraduates. I'll read just a bit of it. We are looking for undergraduates who are determined to make the best use of the available opportunities for study in the School of Biological Sciences, who will interact with fellow students and staff and be prepared to contribute actively to the collective learning experience in tutorials, practical classes and seminars. Communication skills are important in science in general and in biological sciences in particular. So pick out the key phrases: communication skills, analytical skills, powers of evaluation. Pick out the key phrases in the entry profile and use some of those in your personal statement. Yeah? Because that's what the kinds of things they want. These are the kinds of students that they want. Yeah? So that's the entry profile. So please look at that and have a think about it. Subject-specific requirements. These are just for particular subjects. Law. I just put down law. I put down medicine. Analytical skills, articulacy, work experience. That's something that I think is important. If you've got work experience that is very relevant to your degree, that should go right at the very top of your personal statement. Yeah? Sometimes people put it at the bottom. I'm going to come on to the structure in a minute. If you're studying, if you want to do business management or something like that, and you've worked in a business firm, you've done something, you've had an internship, that's very important, yeah? That's really good evidence, and that should be at the top of your personal statement. So I'll come on to the structure in a minute. Medicine, communication skills, tolerance of uncertainty, it's an interesting one. Being able to adapt, I think, to changing circumstances, work experience. That suggests a particular kind of character they want. Someone who's got a kind of a sort of mental toughness, really. Someone who can adapt, who can work under pressure. Those are sort of personal people skills. And that's obviously something that you want to bring out. So think very carefully about your subject, okay? And the subject specifics. Don't have lots of generalities like I'm a people person, I get on well, I work in a team. What are those phrases? They're what?
Generic.
Cliches, generic. Yeah? So avoid, I've always been interested in this since I was 5 years old. That's very, very generic. Be very, very specific. What degree course do you want to apply to, and what skills, what experience do you have that is appropriate to that particular subject? So think very carefully about that. Okay, let's move on. Exhibit skills suited to university life. Now this is the remaining 20%. You call these the soft skills, yeah? All right, let's have a look at those. Time management, yeah, there's a good one. Yeah, for all those that like to get late to class. Time management, turning up on time, being disciplined. Motivation, you know, the ability to work, to have targets, to be focused. Independence, commitment, sociability. You can demonstrate these through things like sport, through your CCAs, through your things that you do for fun. You can also attach them to these particular qualities. Yeah. Again, you're presenting yourself in a very, very positive light. You're interested in this particular. You do this particular CCA, and this is the kind of traits or qualities that it brings out in you. Yeah, I'll talk about that a bit more. So that's the remaining 20%. Okay, what's this? Self-reflection. Now look, this is a bit more abstract. Okay, do anyone know this sculpture? Who is this sculpture? What's it called? Do you know this famous sculpture? It's called The Thinker. So just for a second, just for a minute, so you don't have to listen to me talking, have a think, a moment of reflection. What makes you you? What is different about you from, say, everyone else? What makes you unique? What qualities do you have? Yeah? And one thing that is really clear when I read personal statements is a sense of someone's authenticity. They are being themselves. Yeah? They are presenting themselves. They're presenting in a way their authentic self. Yeah? So have a think about that. What is, it could be about your background, it could be your experiences. And it's important, I think, to when you write something like this, to sound authentic, to sound like it is you. Yeah? You're not putting on a voice. You're not using language which is not you. Yeah? So think about that. Because very often, a lot of personal statements I read sound quite cheesy. You know cheesy?
Yeah.
Yeah? They sound artificial, synthetic, and cheesy. So I think that's something that is not so easy to achieve, but to really think about what is it about you that makes you and different. So think about that authenticity, because it really does come across when the person is reading it. You're writing for someone who is an admissions tutor who's going to be reading loads and loads of these. Okay? And do not be afraid to be yourself, because it's very refreshing when you come across it, yeah, and has an impact. Okay, let's move on. Getting started. Right. Well, let's look at this one here. Getting started. Who can help? University admissions tutors. Now, hopefully, you've all met your university admissions tutors. Yeah, you all know who they are. Is that right? Am I correct in assuming that you've all met them? And all the university admissions tutors will be having appointments twice a week. There'll be two groups, yeah? So you can either go to one group or the other group. I'm going to do my group here. Well, I don't know where they are, but it'll be on Tuesday and Thursdays. So find out from your UAT when you're going to meet them, and it'll be between the 4 to 5 slot, yeah? And that will be fixed, yeah? And it will be registered as well. So you should get notification soon. I'm going to notify my group today or tomorrow about when we're meeting up. Okay, but it'll be between 4 and 5, and it won't clash with the CCA. I know some of you are doing CCAs, all of you are at least doing one CCA. So that's important. Okay, so there'll be a dedicated slot.
Simon, you just mentioned the time that it's councils and that.
Yes, it will be timetabled, so it'll be registered, yeah? Okay, so you'll meet your tutor. It's really, really important over the next 4 or 5 weeks, yeah, that you keep in contact. You don't just kind of waft off and think that the personal statement's going to write itself, because it won't, yeah, and you've got to start writing. Okay, let's move on. Subject teachers. Now look, I've talked to some people who are writing their personal statements, and I say, well, what does your subject teacher say to you? And they say, well, I say, go and talk to your subject teacher. What books should I be reading? What kinds of things, what university courses should I be applying for, and where? So really talk to your subject teacher. It sounds an obvious thing to do, but that's the first port of call, I would say. If you're going to study business and you're studying business, or if you're studying psychology, talk to the psychology tutor, or the business tutor, or the economics tutor, or the modern languages tutor, or the English tutor, or the physics tutor. Pick their brains, yeah? Because they should be able to offer you help and input. Head of universities, Dr. Daniel Woodley. This is when you have something you don't understand and your UAT doesn't understand, Daniel is the person to go and see. Yeah, Daniel, where are you based?
Upstairs in 262.
Yeah. Have any of you gone up there yet?
Yeah.
Spoken to Daniel? Yeah. So Daniel is someone that you should go and see. Daniel will be there. That's his office, and it's a dedicated space, so it's a very, very good port to call. Websites, advice on how to choose courses. So there's lots and lots of websites. There's a student room. Have you used the student room? Yeah, you can find out about student satisfaction. You can find out what students say about a university as opposed to what the brochure says about the university. Read around, yeah? Go onto the web, have a look at the universities. Think about the university. Do you want to live in this particular city, yeah? Do you want to live in London, or do you want to live outside London? London is a big draw, but there are lots of lovely cities in the UK outside London which you might really enjoy. So keep an open mind. Don't think I have to go to London because London is everything. There are lots and lots of great universities outside London, and I think you can have a very rich and rewarding experience outside London. Let's move on. Please ensure you attend appointments with your UAT. Yeah. So those appointments, those days will be sent out to you. Let's move on. It's all about the structure. There you are. So I'm pushing up the Leaning Tower of Pisa. All about the structure. So this is the personal statement now. Let's have a look. Opening paragraph. Can you all look at this for a moment? This is an opening paragraph. Can you all look at it on your phones? Yeah, opening paragraph. It's on Teams. Can we quickly look at it? Tell me why you think this is a good opening paragraph. This was one of the best personal statements last year. The student got an offer, very offer from a prestigious university. Why is this a good opening? Can you all have a quick look at it? If not, I can read it out. You can go on your phone.
Yes, please. Or where is it?
Okay. It's on Teams. Teams, year 13. Yeah, do you want to have a look at it quickly? I'll read it out to you if you... Have you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, have a look at it. It's easier if you read it. It's better if you read it, I think. Just have a quick read. What does this do? This is an opening paragraph to a UCAS personal statement. What does it do? Why is it an effective opening? Shows his interest. Yeah, it could just say, I'm really interested in physics. It's boring. Yeah. I've had a burning passion for physics ever since I was 3 years old. Cliched. Yeah, cheesy. What this does is it tells a story, yeah? It brings in Newton. As a scientist, Newton saw himself as a boy standing on the shore looking for a special pebble or shell while the great ocean of truth lay all around him. Since that time, scientific knowledge of the physical world has increased enormously, but we have only fathomed a fraction of the mysteries and wonders of Newton's ocean. Learning more about the universe means learning more about what we don't know. Nice opening statement. For me, this is what makes physics so enthralling. When I watched Brian Cox's TV series as a child, my own private universe expanded hugely. And then he talks about Andromeda, our nearest neighbouring galaxy, is 2.5 million light years away. I learned that what we see as normal matter makes up around 5% of matter and energy in the universe. He's explaining, really, his learning journey, you know? It begins with something which is engaging, interesting, it's well written, and it engages the reader. It's personal, it's revealing. That's what you do in the opening paragraph. You tell a story which is related to your subject, and it will capture the reader, it will engage them, it will Well, it will basically set the tone for the rest. It's really important, your opening paragraph. That's what the admissions tutor will, that's the first impression you'll make. So please, work on your opening paragraph. This is general, talks about Newton, then brings in Brian Cox TV series, talks about how he started off becoming interested, then brings in some factual information. It demonstrates information, interest, and emotional engagement. It does all three really, and it's an effective opening. So that's something to think about. All of you, after today's lecture rather, after today's lecture, go away and write an introductory paragraph, because that's the hardest thing to do of all, is your introduction. Get that down, yeah? Start thinking about that. Right, let's move on. Paragraph 2, let's look at the evidence here. This is paragraph 2. Evidence. Now this is the key word, evidence. What are you going to show that proves your interest? They don't want to know generalities. I'm really interested in this subject. I've always wanted to study this subject. They want evidence. Let's look here. This is more of the same. As my studies progressed, my capacity to wonder grew. Reading about Einstein's special and general relativity, my intuitive ideas and experiences of the world around me underwent a radical shift. And then he talks about time and how reading particular physicists' work has made him question certain aspects of reality. So again, it's a kind of intellectual history, but it's evidence in texts. Now, if you are going to mention particular writers, particular theorists, and you get called to interview, they might well ask you about those. So don't start putting down writers' names or theorists and you haven't read them. Don't have lists. I would pick out one, or maybe even two maybe maximum, and talk about that. But don't have a list of books that you've read. But again, you are expanding, you're showing the evidence, what you've read, and the effect it's had on you. That's really important. What have you learned from this? How has it changed your view? You are young adults, and you're really on the beginning of your adult life. We're going to go to university, and that is something that you want to talk about the past, the present, and the future. Okay, we'll talk about the future in a minute, because you're going to talk about that later on. And this is evidence here, paragraph 2. More evidence, wider reading. Okay, this is, I'm not going to go through these, but this is about madness, psychology. I enjoyed reading. Anyone studying psychology? Anyone wanting to apply? You're applying for psychology, are you? Yeah. I enjoyed reading Roy Porter's Madness, A Brief History, and Nikki Hayes' Principles of Social Psychology. This was an enriching experience, as I had not come across this material before in class. I went on then to read a number of articles in Psychology Review in order to deepen my understanding of abnormality, material which I used subsequently for the basis of a prize-winning essay on the history of abnormality. So there, more evidence, texts, what effects it's had, wider reading, they write an essay. That's a really good thing to follow through. If you can do something like that, this is what I read, this is the effect it had on me. Okay. You can read, there's one here about economics. So there's one about economics, and there's also one on organic chemistry as well. So you can have a look at those. This is more evidence, and this is wider reading. This is, remember, your second paragraph. You're still talking about the subject you want to do at university, your second paragraph. Can you see how the first two paragraphs are crucial? Because you're presenting academic evidence for your interest. Let's move on. Other forms of evidence. Okay, doesn't have to just be books. Lectures. Now look, I put this here. Gresham College. Have any of you been on Gresham College? It's a wonderful educational foundation. It covers everything: psychology, economics, business, the humanities, ethics, philosophy. Do go on Gresham College, and it has an archive of lectures. It's an absolute treasure trove, And you should have a look at that, because that's the kind of thing that you could reference as evidence. Online lectures. Okay, Gresham College, the website is up there. Courses. Any of you been on any courses at all during the summer? Anyone been on any courses? Yeah, what have been on a course?
Business course.
Business course, right, that's very good, yeah. Oxford, Harvard, all the top universities run courses, online courses. It might be an idea to enroll on one if you haven't done so already. I recommended my students last year, some of my students went on the Harvard course for English, and it was very useful. That was the year before. Work experience, internships, volunteering. This is evidence. If you're doing something which is directly related to your degree, if you've got experience, whether it's an internship or a job or voluntary work, do put it in and keep it. It should be at the top of your personal statement. We're talking about the first two paragraphs here. EPQ extension activities. EPQ, extended project qualification, also extension activities. If you've done things like essays for publications, if you've gone in for competitions, those are kind of extension activities. That's something that I think could be used as evidence as well. Okay, let's move on. The trick, when you're doing a personal statement, is to keep going back to the subject you're applying for. Yeah? Just read this quickly. And what she's doing here is linking voluntary work with studying English. This is a clever sort of spin. She says, one of the reasons I want to read English at university is to fully appreciate how written text can have such a profound impact. This was brought home to me when volunteering to help local primary school children with their reading. When I was their age, I loved the work of Ronald Dahl and Enid Blyton, particularly The Magic Faraway Tree, which transported me to a new world beyond the realms of possibility. It was very moving to observe how how the author's work captured the children's imagination, just as it did mine when I was their age. Now that's a lovely story, yeah? She could have just put down, I volunteered to read in a primary school. Boring. What she's done is she's linked her course to her voluntary work. And that's a really clever thing to have done. And if I was reading that, I'd be very impressed by that. If I was assessing her, if I was an admission student, this candidate got a place at a top Russell Group university to read English. And she had a very, very good personal statement. But that's a really nice story to tell. She's taken voluntary work and she's linked it to her degree. And that would be, I think, a very very impactful thing to do or to read. Let's move on. Okay, what's this? This is what you'll be like in a few years' time. This is paragraph 3. Okay, so paragraph 3. Your other A-levels BTECs, yeah, and IFPs. What have you learned? So this is the opportunity to talk about your other A-levels, yeah? So you might be mixing a BTEC with A-level. You might just be doing the IFP, yeah? But what have you learned? What skills? Areas of interest, expertise. Link them to your chosen subject, yeah? So if you're doing an essay-based subject, yeah, at university, and you're doing another essay-based subject, talk about how that essay-based subject has helped your writing skills. Writing skills are a very good thing to mention if you're doing essays. Economics has, who's doing economics here? Economics? You've got essays in economics, haven't you? Yeah? You're doing another subject, say history or politics, they involve essay writing. So keep it skill-based. Don't start talking too closely about the, I've studied this, and I've studied this, and I've studied this. Don't have a list. Talk about the skills, independent research, critical evaluation, the ability to synthesize different sources of information, things like that, yeah? Keep it skill-based, but you're trying to show how they are transferable skills. So if you want to study psychology at university, think about your other A-levels. How have these other A-levels, enriched your knowledge or contributed to psychology? Think about that, how they can be used. Sometimes you have to twist it a bit. Sometimes, this is why I always say to students, try to choose subjects which go together as a kind of group, as a suite of subjects. Yeah? So transferable skills. That's one, I think, to remember. Okay, so this is paragraph 3, your other A-levels. Okay, let's have a look at some buzzwords here. Now, I like the active voice. For some reason, students think they have to use the passive. It sounds more posh, it sounds more academic. Be direct. Yeah? I want to study this subject because, yeah? And you want to use lots of words like here. Enrich, it's a good word. Broaden, deepen, enhance, augment, evaluate, analyze, synthesize, research. Use lots and lots of active verbs. Be direct. Don't feel you have to say something in a very long-winded way using the passive voice. You know, this is a statement. It's not like writing an essay, really, in many respects. It's you saying to the person who's reading it, this is why, this is what I can offer. These are my skills. These are my areas of interest. Please offer me a place. Okay. So have a look at some of these words here. Evaluate, analyze, synthesize, research. Okay, paragraph 4. Let's have a look at paragraph 4. Personal experiences, interests. Can you see how they're in descending order? Yeah? Start off with the academic, and then we're going down. They become less important. Paragraph 4. Personal experiences, interests. Travel, culture, society, languages, work experience. If it's not directly related to your degree, I'd put work experience later on. Social experiences, hobbies, interests. Keep it relevant. Basically, what are you trying to show with personal interests? What are you trying to demonstrate?
Your passion.
Hmm?
Your passion.
Your passion for what?
For the subject you're going to study.
Well, with personal, with these? Have you already done that? Haven't you already talked about that?
You're a good all-rounded individual.
You're a good all-rounder, yeah. You're not just someone who's going to spend 3 years in the library in front of their computer, yeah? You're a well-rounded individual. In American universities, this is very important. They like good all-rounders in America. Anyone applying for a American university at all? Yeah, they like good all-rounders. They like people who've done, community work. They like well-rounded, balanced, sociable, outgoing. Yeah, these are things. You may not be that. Yeah, you may be quite introverted. You might enjoy your own company. But really, what you're trying to show here is that you are the sort of person they want they want to teach in their department. Yeah. So think about that. You're presenting yourself in a particular way. But again, I think this is of decreasing importance. We're coming towards the end of the personal statement. What do you have to offer? Use CCAs and sport to highlight your motivation and to suggest what you could contribute to the university. Enthusiasm, energy, time management, stamina, challenge, independence, teamwork, leadership. Yeah? So think about what you, and the evidence for that. What evidence do you have? You're doing CCAs. You might be doing voluntary work. You might be involved in a society outside the school. So think about those things which you can put in. Let's move on. Make it relevant. I am captain of the hockey team. That's just a statement. As captain of the hockey team, I've had to show leadership and tact. Leadership and tact. Yeah? You've mentioned the fact you're captain of the hockey team, but you've demonstrated leadership and tact. Yeah? I'm on the school council. Any of you on the school council? Yeah. What have you demonstrated? I'm not going to ask you now, but if you're on the school council, what position of authority, if you had a position of authority, what qualities did that bring out in you? Yeah? What, sorry? Communication skills, yeah, good communication skills. You're sort of liaising, aren't you, between students and the
Student voice. Yeah.
student voice, yeah. These are all good things. So if you're in when I was at school, there were prefects, and they used to go around wearing a special badge, and they had they could even give you detentions. Prefects, can you believe this? They could give younger boys detentions. You know. But, what's that? No, we don't use that word anymore. Okay, so let's move on. I mentor younger students. Any of you doing any mentoring? Yeah, that's a good one. Mentoring, yeah, mentoring. Excellent. Yeah. These are all very good things to show. You are an ethical, generous-spirited individual. Yeah, you're not just me. I just want to pass exams. I just want to get 3 A stars and get to the best university. You are showing that you are ethical, broad-minded, and generous. Yeah, good things to show, and you've evidenced it as well. So I organise social events at my college. Any of you organise social events? Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a ball at the end of this year, summer ball. Some of you will organise that. Any of you involved in the social side here at all? No? Very important at university, of course. These are the kinds of things that universities like. People that organise social events. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Right, paragraph 5. Finally, we get to the end. You'll be pleased to know we're coming to the end of this. Paragraph 5. Life after university. There you have Oxford and Cambridge. Life after university. What do we do after university? And this is going to go into your personal statement. This is how you finish. You talk about the future. How is your degree going to enable you to achieve your career aspirations? Yeah? Where is it going to lead to? Let's have a look. End with a bang and not a whimper. How will your degree choice help you in your future career? What areas are you particularly looking forward to studying? What skills, areas of expertise are you particularly wanting to develop or acquire? So that might be slightly problematic if you're applying for different courses at different universities. Yeah. Anyone in that situation at all? You're applying to do, say, one course at one university and then a different course at another? Any of you do that?
Yeah, not the different ones.
There's sort of different combinations. Yeah.
They should overlap at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't want to apply for two
Yeah, you don't want
completely different degrees.
You don't want to apply for agriculture at one university and then English literature at another. That would look very odd.
It must overlap.
Yes. So, so really, when you finish your personal statement, this should be really quite short, I think. Yeah. Because if you haven't done the business by then, you're not going to turn it around in the last paragraph. But really, what is it that you want to do? How will this degree be like a stepping stone or part of your journey? I know that's a kind of cliche, your journey, but perhaps it's a good term to use because in a way it is a journey. You're going from school to university to work. Yeah? And you've shown there the connections between the three stages. You're at school, you're going to university, and then university will lead into a career. And that's when you start talking. And you can talk quite speculatively. You know, these are areas that I might be very interested in pursuing later on. Yeah. So that's really the end of the talk. The main thing I think to think about is the structure. I really think it's very important that you think very, very clearly about the structure. A very good introduction, a second paragraph where you evidence your interest and knowledge and expertise. What's the third paragraph on? What's the third paragraph? Paragraph 3, do you remember? No.
About what you've read.
Paragraph 3 was about your other A-levels. Yeah, your other A-levels. Don't just forget them. Yeah. What have you learned in those other subjects? Yeah. So paragraph 3 is about your other A-levels. What's paragraph 4? Personal interests, hobbies, travel, languages. These are things that you can sort of soft skills. Really, you're showing you're a well-rounded individual. Each paragraph has a focus. Yeah. When you read it, it's very clear what the focus is. I should be able to read paragraph 3 and think, oh, he or she is writing about their other A levels and what skills they've learned. And what's the final paragraph going to be on?
Future.
Future. What are you going to do in the future? What do you think you'll do? Yeah. So try to link your degree with your future career aspirations. Yeah. What areas you're going to do. Sometimes it's very good to link the paragraph 5 with the opening to go back. Yeah. Gives it a nice structure. Yeah. So you might kind of flip it back to the beginning. That's a good technique to use. Journalists use that a lot. You know, they introduce something in the opening and then they go back to it in the final paragraph. Yeah. So it gives a sense of circularity. So that's the sort of stylistic thing you might want to think about. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Any questions at all?
Can I just make a couple of points?
Yes.
Can we just first of all thank Simon for his excellent speech?
Thank you.
Just two things very quickly. All of you, use Simon's wise words. Write, if you haven't already started writing something, start now. And even if it's just one paragraph, send it to your University admissions tutor with some comments, okay? He or she will send it back with some ideas. But get on with it, okay? You have a month, so start now.
Thank you.